Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
And I say good morning because I'm in South Florida, but actually, Sissy is not. She is on the other side of the water. So, good afternoon to those people there, and welcome
Yes.
to Jigsaw Parenting. Um, my name is Sumitra Singal, and I just want to tell you guys a little bit about what is Jigsaw Parenting and how did we come up with this. So the backstory on that is we have a friend who thought it was quite interesting if you look at what goes on with parenting from different backgrounds. Basically, we're all trying to get to the same goal. We all want to raise our kids to be healthy individuals, not just healthy in body, but healthy in mind, people who can go out into the world and function. But I think one of the things she found out that she found very interesting was the fact that sometimes depending on your background, your cultural background, your racial, ethnic background, the experiences you've been through, putting all of that together, it kind of makes up your ideas about parenting and what you do with your kids and how you raise them. And of course, not just you, but the other parent of the child together, it all kind of comes together. So that's where this idea was born out of Jigsaw Parenting, because it's, if you think about it, it's so many different pieces of the puzzle that come together to make one whole, which we call parenting. So my name is Sumitra Singal. A little bit about me. I live in the South Florida area. My mother is from the Caribbean, specifically Belize. Belize is, a lot of times people have never even heard of it. So Belize is a small country in Central America. They hear Central America, they think, oh, so you're Latin or you speak Spanish. But the funny thing is, Belize is one of the few, is I believe the only country in Central America that was previously owned by England. So because of that, English is their language versus the rest of Central America, which was owned by Spain. Their primary language, their first language is Spanish. So my mother is from Belize and my father is from India. I was born here in the U.S. in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I grew up here in Miami and raised by just my mom. So that's a little bit about me. Let's not forget the most important thing. I have three kids. Two are in high school. One is a senior in high school about to graduate. And the youngest one is in middle school, her first year in middle school. So, Stephen, let me hand it over to you. Can you introduce yourself to everyone?
I sure can. My name is Stephen Bax. I'm going to start with my kids. I have two kids who also know Sumitra's kids. The oldest is a senior and goes to school with Jordan, and the youngest goes to school with your daughter, also in the sixth grade. So there's two of them. I am white guy from the Midwest, born in Dayton, Ohio. Grew up here in South Florida in Hollywood Hills, which was a predominantly white suburb between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. But I grew up, it was predominantly white where I grew up, went to college, had a black roommate, learned a lot from him. There was very little interaction growing up. And I've been teaching for 25 years, and 14 of those years were in a predominantly black school, 9 years in a predominantly Hispanic school. That has shaped a lot of my perspective. My wife, she passed away about 2.5 years ago. She was Peruvian, and we had 20 wonderful years together and our two wonderful kids. And Sumitra went through some of watched what I went through. That was not, fighting cancer for 2.5 years, and it was a total surprise and shock. But her family and I are very close. My youngest son is at the beach right now with her family, and we're still very close. They help out a great deal. It's a very different family orientation between my wife's family and my family. Very, very different dynamic. And that has shaped a lot of what my kids have become as well, and what they're becoming, I should say. And I should also mention we teach together. I
Yes.
mentioned in the last episode, so we've known each other for a number of years. Sissy, it's all yours.
And I want to say, wait.
Okay.
Sissy, we're so happy to have you here today because
Yes.
unfortunately
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
we had some technical difficulties and she couldn't be here, but come on in, Sissy, and do your thing.
Okay, I will. As you can see, I'm Sissy Van Vark. I know the two of you through Stephanie. Sumitra, I've known you a bit longer because I know you're a best friend. And Stephen, I just met you, but I really like you. So that's a good thing. I grew up here on Curacao, on a Caribbean island, small island. Like you, Sumitra, most people don't know about Curacao. They all know Aruba, but they don't know about Curacao. So, I've got a native mom living there on Curacao. She met my dad. My dad is a Dutch guy. Went there for work, stayed there, got married again. So I was born there on Curacao and came up to the Netherlands, where I currently live. Different time zone, that's correct. And I stayed here after school. I found a job. I found my husband and got kids. So decided to stay. But I do miss my island. But recently, well, about 2 years, I'm divorced after 20 years of marriage. So right now I'm a single mom of 2 girls, a 20-year-old and a 10-year-old, a big age difference.
Yes.
One is in elementary school and the other one dropped out of college. And since a month, coming back to live at home with me. So after being gone for 4 years, so there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff getting used to again. But that's the challenges I have to deal with. So it's very exciting, and I'm hoping for advice and giving advice about how we do stuff around here.
I agree. So on that note, you guys hear a little bit about us. Today's topic is cell phones. So let me tell you, we are talking about today our viewpoints on when is the right time to let your child have a cell phone. And I want to tell you, the difference between right now and even just as far back, or really not even as far back, as close back as 5 years ago, things have changed so much with cell phones. And personally, between me and my husband, we've never had a child get a cell phone until late in middle school. That was something we just felt like they did not need a cell phone. The reason being, let me explain to you, for us, they weren't taking like a public transportation bus to and from school. They would walk from our high school campus, which is where I teach, to their middle school campus and elementary school campus together. Or if they weren't together, then it was one of the middle schoolers with the elementary schooler. So the elementary schooler was never walking by herself at that time. So the thought was, why do they need a cell phone? They're always either with us, or they're at home in the house, or they're with someone we know that's an adult-like, or if they're not an adult-like person, they're old enough where they have a phone and we could contact them. So it has never been a thing where, and I will tell you, just teaching in the school system, there are tons of kids that I would hear them talk about their younger siblings, maybe in first grade, and they had a cell phone. And I would think, what the heck does a first grader need with a cell phone, right? And again, there may be different issues, maybe how they move to and from school while they need a form of communication. But my thought has always been, if they were that young and they needed a form of communication, then it needed to be, I call it, those jitterbug phones that have been advertised for older people in the US, where it calls certain numbers, it calls 911, it had limited capability. And that is what I always thought. If they were going to be that young, That's what they needed on the cell phone. Be able to call mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandparents, siblings, and emergency, all the key people. I never felt like if they were going to have it that young, they needed to have all the digital media available to them, because I
No.
just feel like they can get themselves in a lot of trouble. Whether or not
Yes.
they were looking for the trouble or not, sometimes the trouble just comes and finds you. And because you're young, you may not be able to decipher, okay, I shouldn't go there, or maybe I shouldn't answer this, or you just because you're young. So again, for us, it wasn't until middle school, late middle school, that they got phones, except the last one. We went ahead and let this last one have a cell phone in sixth grade, just this school year. And let me tell you, it has come with some challenges, because some of the things that I was concerned about are now starting to pop up. Okay. So that's my viewpoint. I'm going to actually, Sissy, I'm going to go your way this time. What are your thoughts about when they should get cell phones?
Well, I'm with you on that one, because if you're going to get them a phone while they're so young, it should be a phone only for making phone calls, not the ones with apps and all the other. It shouldn't be a computer. It should be just a phone, because they'll get themselves in trouble if it's taking pictures or getting to see stuff they shouldn't see. So I agree with you on that one. It's the age limit. If we're talking age limit, it should be 11, 12 years old, like where here they just gonna go to high school, because then it's necessary. All the ages below that, it's not necessary. You should be able to make good appointments, or good discuss with your mom or dad what time you should be where. So there would always be like a check for, if you're not there, there's someone going to be there to alarm me that, hey, your
Right.
kid hasn't arrived. There should be some sort of agreement on what time you should be. There shouldn't be the excuse of the phone, because you're going to put it's going to be an excuse because my phone wasn't working, because I didn't hear the call, or the sound was off. It's going to be something that's going to deliver an excuse, and not going to hold you to the agreement of certain times being certain places. That's how I feel about the phone. Not before 12 years old. No, no, they're gonna get in trouble. Yeah.
And so, Sissy, did you also do that? Did they not get phones until that age with you?
Oh, yes, I waited until the last year of element, and still, like you, we hit a huge bump, because then you buy the phone and you put certain limits on it, and then there'll be a friend that knows all about phones, and they'll pick it up, and then
Mm-hmm.
I was paying for groceries, and I couldn't pay because my check, or my payment just blew off on the phone, on the bill of the phone of my daughter. And I came home and checked my account, and I was, oh my God, what happened? And I was, yeah, but my friend helped me out, so I could download this and download that.
Oh my
And there
gosh.
was the bill. So they're gonna get into trouble. And this, even when I waited until she was 12 years old, this still happened. So they don't
Right.
know, and don't know the responsibilities about a certain stuff. And the phone just, they'll ask a question and they'll answer, yeah, sure, I wanna, and then they'll go ahead. So that's something they don't oversee, the huge problems that can come from having a phone that can do everything.
Right. Right. What
Now,
about
Yeah.
you, Stephen?
well, my oldest one didn't get his until ninth grade, and he really didn't grumble about it too much. Granted, we were going through a few things. My wife was very sick at the time. Um, my youngest one got his in elementary school. He got his in fifth grade, and there was a reason behind it. I actually might have been fourth or fifth grade. In any case, it was my wife had passed, um, and so we gave him her phone.
Okay.
And so there was that attachment to it. So special circumstance, it has brought up some problems. He's too in touch with his friends sometimes, and his grades slipped a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It is completely unlocked. Now he has his own phone number and his own phone, but it has to stay in my room at night.
Okay.
And if he doesn't get on a roll, then we're on spring break right now. His phone and his computer stay in my room for the entire spring break. He cannot touch them. He cannot play video games. He cannot contact his friends. He does get to go out. He went to Top Golf with my sister-in-law yesterday. They're at the beach right now. So he does get to go out, and I think that's okay. I think they need that familial connection.
Right.
The pandemic has also created a special situation. The kids have to have Remind on their phone. Even at the middle school level now, they have to have Remind. And so that's created a special circumstance. They have to keep track of that. Also, at the end of the week, I make him look up his grades and show them to me on the phone.
Okay.
What's going on. And we're struggling a bit with that right now. What type of rules we need to make, but special circumstances called for a different response.
Right.
I wish I could have kept the phone from him till 9th grade. I really do.
Right.
But we're dealing with it as it comes.
Stephen, I have to tell you, you bring up a good point, because my little one, she doesn't have tons of friends, but the friends that she has, she wants to communicate with them all the time. She wants to talk to them. She wants to FaceTime them. She wants to text them. They might be doing homework together and on the phone. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. You know, how do you spend more time on the phone than I do? And I don't spend a lot of time on the phone. I use the phone for the purpose that it is. I do use it as a computer. I must say, technology has made life very convenient for all of us. The phone is completely different from what it was 15 years ago. And I can say that because, of course, you're talking to a group of parents who we're all well over the age of 40. So we've been brought up in a different time period. We were all brought up in a time where there was no phones. And you were, like Sissy said, you were expected, okay, you're going to be here. The bus drops you off at this time, or you're going to meet someone here. Okay, I expect you to be there. And within 5-10 minutes of you getting there, I know you're going to be calling me. Because that's the responsibility level that we were looking at. So for us, I don't think any of us truly live and die, us as parents, by our phones, because we existed in a world where there were no phones. So I think sometimes it's really hard for us to comprehend the constantly being on the phone. Because I feel like if you're on the phone that much, what are you talking about? Like, how far are these conversations going? What are you getting into?
Right.
And I don't know. It just kind of makes me a little weary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And then that raises the question, do you check up on your phone? Is the phone of your kid, is it a private thing? Or do you go back, like do you check what they talk about?
Well,
the level of privacy, how much do you give them or not?
Right.
That's
that's funny. That's really funny that you say that. We kind of, for us, we haven't been the type to check up on what they've been doing on their phone unless they've given us a reason to see what's going on. Now, I will tell you this. Only my oldest has social media. The other two do not have social media.
Really?
But when we said, okay, you can get social media, she couldn't get every single platform out there. It was like, okay, pick the one that you plan to be on, and we have to be your friends on it. Because now, granted, I know they can do private things, obviously, but just because of where those platforms can go and it's just open up to the entire world, then, and I'm not saying, anybody's a saint, any of my kids are a saint, but we need to be on your social media. We need to know what you're saying there. So in that case, I do know what's going on there, at least what's on the public part of that for her. Mm-hmm. But I haven't really gone into say, let me see your phone, unless they've given me a cause to ask it. Like Stephen said, okay, if grades are dropping, let's see what the heck is going on. Luckily, we've been staying on top of grades. But if there's any kind of thing that looks a little like, I don't know, even if it's not grades, just something seems off, that's definitely prompts me to look into it. What about you, Sissy?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm trying to giving them the space, the room to talk and do, because most of the time it's about nothing, or it's close games or whatever. As soon as I pick up on something or I feel like something's off, then I'll go check. But I try to, conversational wise, keep the level real low. They can talk to me about literally anything. Just today, my 10-year-old was playing a game and she said, "Mom, some guy asked me to go steady with him. I don't know who this is." I'm like, "You're playing a game. So you don't know, why would you go steady? What would he want to do? You're online, you don't know him." So I try to keep the level really low so they feel like they can tell me literally anything and I won't go up.
Right.
I'll just laugh about it, and in my mind, I'll go like, "What the heck's going on?"
You're freaking out. You're freaking out in the
And it's
background.
like, that's, you don't know them, so what did you say? I'll try to keep low key so they keep filling me up, and if I feel like, no, this is not right, then I'll go check. But I'll try to give them the room so they feel like they can be themselves, especially that.
I agree. What about you, Stephen? Oh, wait, Stephen, I think you're on mute.
Yeah.
You muted.
There you are.
In any case, I wish I had given my younger son the phone later. The circumstances demanded that he needed it at the time. I do worry about the phone. I did find out with the oldest when he did get his phone that a student, one of his a girl that he was dating, was in serious trouble. I can't go too much into that, but it may have actually saved a life.
Okay.
So it has gotten that serious. That said, I don't want them with their phones in their rooms alone. I keep the phones in my room. I'm a little more free with my oldest. He's about to graduate high school. He's got to learn responsibility.
Right.
What to do with that. And he has shown that. He has shown that responsibility, particularly in the last year. He's really grown up a lot. My younger one, he tries to hide it. I like to have him keep it in my room. He tries to make me forget. And sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll fall asleep before
hopefully Dad will fall asleep and won't remember to ask me about that dumb phone.
And then the next day he's really tired, and I know why.
Probably been out playing games.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think this has been a great conversation today. I know obviously different parents have different views as far as cell phones and when is the right time. And sometimes there are special circumstances, but I think we all just have to remain vigilant as far as what's going on in our homes.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you guys again for coming in to listen to us today. This was Jigsaw Parenting. Again, my name is Sumitra Singal, and I have
Stephen Bax
and Sissy Fanfare.
And we hope to see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.